Hey guys, and welcome back. So it's been a little while since I've made a video in general. Today I'm going to do a little quick walk around of the garage, do a little bit of a garage update if you like, show you lot what is in the garage at the minute, show you some of the major changes that's happened within the garage, and just talk a little bit about what we paid for some of the cars and how much they're sort of worth now. You also need to keep in mind that myself and Ryan are very much into cars. This is our hobby, and anyone with a hobby knows how expensive it can be, but we have decided to spend all our money on cars. And I will tell you, we do go without other things to have our nice cars as well. It's not like we are just made of money and we can afford to splash out on these cars and do things. If you follow me on Instagram, you will have seen the S2000, I'm sure of it, but if you don't, I'm going to show you it for the first time. So let's get into the video. I think we'll start with the car that we have owned the longest, which is the Jordan Civic. So this is one of the cars that we have owned the longest. This is Ryan's Jordan Civic. There's only 500 of these cars ever made, and I think there's only in around maybe 200 and something of these left. There's not very many left on the road, but we've had this for a long time. It does stay in this bubble. We have probably had the Civic for in around 10 years, and it's one of those cars that we're never going to sell. It's always going to be here. It's always going to be in our possession. This was a car that Ryan wanted back in the day. To be honest, we paid an absolute bargain for this car. This car was a steal. We paid 2.5 grand for this Civic back in the day, and they are fetching anywhere up to 10 grand at the minute, if you can find a clean enough one. Ooh, that's going to stay here forever. It's not going anywhere. That is Ryan's most favourite car. It is his baby and he will never get rid of it. We must get it out of the bubble because it will look really nice beside the S2000. Okay, so going on to the next car, that is the longest owned one we have. After the Jordan is my A1, which is outside. I am currently using it as a daily. It does need a wash. I might wash it today if I get a chance, but we'll go and have a quick look at it. Do still have the A1. Like I said, it's been used as a daily. It is on airbags and it's got this lovely wrap, and it did just have the Ferrari wheels on it, but I did give them to Ryan for his Mini, which I'll show you in a minute. But yeah, still have the A1. Needs a good clean. As you can see, it's full of bird poop. Side note, you see when I'm trying to record YouTube videos, right? I'm at the top of my yard, so there's always people about. My mum's down, my dad's across the road, Ryan and his business is down the other end of the yard. There's always someone about. I can just never make YouTube videos, right? So, what did I do? Put a little sign on the outside of the door. People still proceed to come in. They mustn't be that scared of me, but seriously. Like, take the freaking hand, don't open the door. Like, I will kill you. Anyway, before we got distracted, so the next car that we purchased that we've kept hold of is, I think, the DC5. We've had the DC5 for a little while. We've had it for a long time. You've seen it on the channel before. There's nothing really new happened with it. It's just sort of sitting there making money. This car cost us at the time, cost Ryan mostly, but cost us at the time 7 grand to buy, and they are shooting away up. I've seen some of those going for 14 grand, 15 grand, maybe more. It depends how clean they are, it depends on the mileage, depends on the spec and stuff. But DC5 is still there, it hasn't really changed, and just love that car so much. And I think Ryan loves that car just as much as I do. Then, the next car that we got was this little Mini. Some of you may remember when we got this Mini at the start, it was silver, or completely standard, just a little standard R53 supercharged Mini. And the transformation this car has had is absolutely insane. This car has not got any standard parts left on it, and I'll show you quickly, but I am going to make a separate YouTube video on this altogether and show you the complete transformation, because it is just unreal and it deserves so much more credit than people give it. This car used to be silver. It used to be like, well, it used to be like a grey silver. It used to be completely standard. We got it completely standard. I will insert a clip now reminding myself. I'm just going to talk and remind myself that I need to put this in. It's been wrapped in this khaki green colour. It's been bagged on airlift suspension. I give Ryan my Ferrari wheels that were on my A1, and he got adapters to make them fit this, and it looks so good with them on it. It's had new taillights, new headlights, new spoiler. Everything has been carboned. Every trim has been painted in gloss black. He's got the extensions, indicators carboned, even up to the wipers have been carboned. And genuine carbon scoop, black mini badge, carbon grills the whole way down, new headlights which are in gloss black. What has happened here? But yes, this car has had every single thing done to it that you can think of. I'm trying my hardest not to kill this little bee, because it's just been chilling here for a while and I'm trying my hardest not to kill it. But I will show you the Mini in a dedicated video because this car deserves so much more credit than it gets. It's had everything done to it and Ryan has really made this his own. But I did get it wrong. The S2000 was bought before the Mini. The Mini cost £1,000 back when we got it. That was only a couple of years ago. I think it was during COVID, the first lockdown. We got it as a project, just something to do, and it was £1,000. These little supercharged Minis can go anywhere between 4 grand, maybe up. This one would probably be worth quite a bit now, but we only paid £1,000 for that back then, and there's no chance of getting one of those now for £1,000. COVID prices have just went mental, but yes, that's how much we paid for that. Then, moving on to the S2000. Like I said, I always wanted an S2000. It was my dream car. I remember seeing one at a car show one time. It was Bob Kennedy's black one, and I absolutely loved it, and I just wanted one. I wanted a Stancy one. And I kept this for quite a while. I've had this for around four years, I think, and I kept it standard-ish most of that time, and in the last probably 6 months I decided I was just going to go for it and make it a Stancy because that's what I wanted to do. I just wanted a Stancy S2000. People were telling me not to do it to an S2000, but I am so glad that I stuck to my guns and did what I had in my head and made it come to life, because this car is absolutely unreal and it is such a head turner. And again, there will be a dedicated video to the S2000 to show you exactly what's been done to it. Like I said, this car used to be silver and I wasn't really a fan of the silver, and I decided that I would paint this car bright yellow. It is in the same shade as the Jordan, which is Y56 Sunset Yellow, and I think I made the best decision ever. It is obviously on air suspension. It's got these really nice stepped up BBSs, and I swear to God, I love these things more than my life itself. Then I got a set of Scylla seats to go into it. The interior is kind of standard, kind of plain. I've got a personal steering wheel. Then I got in around here all carbon dipped, and it makes such a difference. It's so lovely, it's so nice. In around here has been carbon dipped as well. It's kind of a mess because we have been doing car shows and it's really simple. And you may or may not have known that we were taking the S2000 and the Mini to Dubshed this year. That's what we were getting them ready for, and I am so pleased. The S2000 has came home with a top 40 prize. That's all the prizes there was, top 40 and car of the show, and the S2000 came home with a top 40. I know it might not seem a lot to you, but Dubshed has such a huge, high standard amount of cars, and to get a top 40 there is absolutely insane. I really wasn't expecting it. I swear I nearly dropped when they said that the very yellow S2000 had won a prize, and yeah, I just couldn't believe it. Then we went to Springfest the week after, and I also came home with a top 5, so I'm really pleased. I'm glad people are starting to see my vision, and I'm glad people are appreciating the time and effort and seeing what I seen in my head come to life in real life, and it's so nice. Next up we have the DC2. I've showed you it in the channel before, but I absolutely love the DC2. It's just so nostalgic and it has such an old school feel to it. If you've had a Honda, if you've had VTEC, you will understand what I mean when I say it's just good old school B-series VTEC, and there's just something so nice about it compared to a K20, which is absolutely insane and absolutely unreal. The limiter and everything on a K20 is completely different, but there's just something so lovely about a DC2, and I absolutely love our DC2 over here. It is such a clean example. We're just waiting for new badges to come. In case you're wondering what's happened here, I need to take the sticky bit off from the other one, but we're just waiting for new badges, and this car is super duper clean, and it gets so many heads turning whenever you're out and about, and I just absolutely love this car. And so many of you guys do too, but I'm going to try and make more videos with some of the cars this year. I'm not really sure if I've showed you the M3 an awful lot. I think I showed you in a video where I maybe tinted it, but that was really it. I actually am not sure if it was here before the DC2. It could have been. Maybe the M3 was before it. What came first, the chicken or the egg? I think it was the egg. And of course my mum's little Beetle, which I showed you before. The latest purchase that is in the garage is this little old Mini that Ryan and his mum and his dad and his brother have all bought together. You might have remembered the little red one that sat over there, but it needed a lot of work. It needed a lot of welding. It didn't even have an engine, didn't have seats, didn't have any interior or nothing. They sold it and bought this instead. So this was a better purchase because, let's be honest, that other Mini was just sitting there like an ornament for the last year nearly, and nothing had been done with it. So This was a better purchase. It can be drove, doesn't go very fast, but it's still a very good purchase, and it's such a nice little car. You can almost fit it anywhere in here. They bought this little Mini Cooper, and it's so cool. It's pretty clean, to be fair. This car is very old. I'm taking nothing to do with this car. This car can just live here, but I'm taking nothing to do with it. I'm not taking nothing to do with the modifications. They've done quite a lot to it already. They've got new seats and stuff in it. They've got new mirrors, got new wheels on it, got a new steering wheel on it. They might be the new clocks. I think they possibly are new clocks that they put into them. Got new seats, and they're really, really nice seats, to be fair. And got new door cards, because the other door cards were really battered and really needed new ones, and they got new handles and stuff. But this thing is pretty cool. The S2000, I bought this about 4 years ago for, I think, 4.5 grand. They are now fetching anything over 10 grand at the minute. You can't get an S2000 in Northern Ireland. You might get them in the UK, but there's definitely hardly any for sale in Northern Ireland whatsoever, and they are definitely fetching up over 10 grand. The little Mini, like I said, was £1,000. One of those now for in around 4 grand. Don't know what this one would be worth. But they are fetching that sort of money at the minute. Mum's little Beetle, we didn't buy that, we gave it to her. Ryan took it as a trade-in, and we gave it to her as a present. The DC5 was 7 grand-ish, and like I said, they're up to now 14, 15 grand. COVID prices are mental. Not too sure what they paid for this little Mini. I'll find out and I'll add it in. DC2, we paid 10 grand for it, I think 10 and a half maybe, recently when we got it. And I did see one the other day for sale for 18 grand, a bit high, but probably more realistic in around 16. And the Jordan, you're probably talking in around, I would say probably in the region of 9 grand. That's not got any rust and you know whatever, and it's pretty clean and standard. I said we paid 2.5 grand for that back in the day. A1, I bought the A1 for 14 grand. I financed it at the time, but I paid 14 grand for the A1. Probably only worth in around 8, I would say 8 grand, maybe less, actually maybe 7. And the question that I am constantly asked on my YouTube and on TikTok is, how can I afford all these cars? It has been over 10 years. We have been buying and building cars in that length of time. And the thing is, we are both putting our money into this hobby, so there's double the money. There's double the money for this hobby. It's not like Ryan has a wife who's just sitting there telling him not to spend money. I'm actually encouraging him to buy stuff that he doesn't need. We just bought cars when they were at a right price. We've just been buying, saving a bit of money, buying, saving a bit of money, buying, saving a bit of money, with a few loans through in and around that as well, to buying all these cars. Buying them at the right time when they're cheap. People look at them now and think they're worth all this money, but at the time when we bought them, they weren't that big of money. They really weren't. Over 10 years. I wish people would stop asking me how I can afford all these cars. We didn't just buy them all at once, we bought them over 10 years, and a lot of hard work went into those years as well. This video has been on long enough. If you've made it to the end of this video, thank you so much for watching. Let me know in the comments below which one is your favourite and which one you would like to see a video on, and I will see you in the next one.